So if you're thinking of moving to Boise, Idaho, you've probably heard of towns like Boise or Meridian, but one area you may not have heard of is Nampa, Idaho. That's where I personally call home, and it's an area that I think you need to know about. We're going to talk about Nampa, Idaho in this video.
Today we're going to be covering the top pros and cons of Nampa, Idaho. Stay tuned because one of the cons you're going to want to hear, which after you hear, maybe you'll decide, gotta scratch Nampa off the list.
Yeah, honestly, Rachel, you're exactly right. I feel like personally Nampa gets a bad rap. I moved here from Boise 5 years ago, and honestly, I was kind of nervous to do it, but I've been pleasantly surprised. But like Rachel said, there are some issues that you definitely need to know about before you make that call to move here. So let's get into it. So Rachel, your impression, I mean, I know you haven't spent a lot of time here. Like Rachel's a Boise native, guys. I am too, but I've been in Nampa for like 5 years now. What's your impressions?
Yeah. You know, I honestly love downtown Nampa. It gives me a feel of what Boise downtown used to be when I was growing up. Very small, quaint, lots of fun shops, lots of fun eateries. And you really feel that with Nampa, that they have pride in their downtown. They are investing in it. You feel they're just revitalizing it with bringing in some fun local eateries. Like here we are with Paddle Up Poke. And just a variety. I feel like you could come down here and find whatever you're craving. A great place for families and kids. Right. And you tell us about like the events that they do down here. Oh yeah, for sure. So like Third Thursday is one of like my favorite events to come to. We don't make it every month, but essentially it's just the name implies. Every third Thursday of every month they do like a little street festival. Shops and vendors and like everyone's walking in the streets, and you know, it's just a great place to come hang out. There's usually activities for the kids and kind of fun stuff like that to do. But even just on a normal, like, I mean, it's a Tuesday at lunchtime here. It's super quiet, calm. Like if I was just gonna bring my kids and like, hey, let's go grab a bite to eat, and a fun thing we like to do is go thrift shopping and, you know, look for the goodies in the thrift store if there's any hidden gems or things like that. You could totally do that down here, and, you know, stop for ice cream at the Still. Like, it's just a very calm, chill place to hang out. Whereas like I would almost compare it to Boise as like, you know, skyscrapers, and it's almost too busy, which don't get me wrong, I like Boise downtown too, but it's not the same feel. There's more of a hustle and bustle in downtown Boise. Right. Like and when you get there, it just, you feel that. And here you just can have a little, it's more calm and relaxing. Yeah. Okay, so the first pro that Rachel and I are gonna share with you about Nampa, Idaho is its affordability. Most people we talk to and clients we work with are moving to Nampa because it's so much more affordable than the rest of the valley. And Rachel, what do we mean by affordable? Yeah, if you're looking for a bigger home, more bedrooms, you want a larger lot size, less crowding, maybe you even want some acreage, you want land for maybe a small farm or something, we find that out here in Nampa, and the price tag is so much more better for new families, for first-time home buyers, even seasoned home buyers. We do help them find homes here in Nampa too, just because it fits the bill, or they want that more small town feel. Even here, we're in downtown Nampa, and just the feeling of downtown Nampa is something unique. Yeah, and this is a topic, guys, that is really close to home for me because, like, as I mentioned, like, I moved from, you know, the heart of Boise to downtown Nampa, and I was a little nervous because if you don't know, Nampa has kind of a bad reputation of being a little sketchy at times, or, you know, just really run down, or just maybe too far away from the things you want to do on a daily basis. But after living here for 5 years, I've got to disagree with that sentiment, and Rachel's going to be a good sounding board because she's currently living in Boise and doesn't spend much time out here. So let's get into some of these more pros and cons, and we'll see what you guys think, if you guys agree or not. Okay, so another thing we want to get into, Okay, so let's talk about another thing, and this is going to actually, depending on your perspective or your scenario, this might be a con for you. So, and that's the job opportunities out here in Nampa. And really, I say it's a con sort of because there are plenty of employers. If you're in the medical field, St. Alphonsus and St. Luke's are like the two major hospitals in Idaho, and they've got two major hospitals along with like urgent care facilities scattered all over Nampa. So if you're a nurse or in the medical field, like you will have no problem finding work in your town of Nampa if you guys move out here.
Also, Costco is another major employer in the area, right?
Yeah, you've got Costco, major employer. You've got an Amazon out here. You also have Mission Aviation Fellowship, and you also have Cordova Outdoors. So there are some great companies out here. However, a lot of people that do live in Nampa, they do commute to Meridian, to Boise, because that is where you're going to find the majority of the jobs here in the area. And with that will come some transportation that we will talk about in a bit.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of my major cons for living in Nampa that I've experienced so far. But in terms of jobs, yeah, just to be real with you guys, like more than likely, you're gonna end up working in like Meridian or Boise or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that there's like no jobs in Nampa. There's definitely opportunity depending on which field you're in. So want to be real with you on that, but I don't think it's as bad as most people seem. Like we're not completely out in the boonies that like you're never gonna be able to find work. Like really, guys, we're like 30 minutes from Boise.
Yeah, and Nampa is up and coming. They are revitalizing this downtown area. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're looking to start your own business, or you have a small business and want a location, like downtown Nampa is ready for that. They're bringing in some small boutiques, local eateries, breweries. So they definitely have open arms to get more businesses out here. So it's a great opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay, so Rachel and I are now in front of the public library in Nampa. It's actually just on the edge of downtown, which is kind of cool. You've got a parking garage right over there, like you can kind of see through those trees. So it's really easy to get access to the downtown library. But it's a great opportunity to talk about like the Nampa schools. And I would say that, I'll be honest, the schools is not the greatest, but it's kind of nuanced because the Nampa School District is not great. If you look it up online, they don't have great reviews.
Right.
But there's also Valley View School District, which services like parts of Nampa, like the northern part of Nampa. And that's actually the 5th best school district in the state of Idaho.
Yeah. And you were saying, Cameron, earlier that like just the main problem with that school district is just a little bit of overcrowding. And probably because it is a higher sought out school district.
It's growing so much. They're building so many houses out here that and there's just still such an influx of people moving to the area that it's hard for the schools to keep up with the demand and all the new students enrolling every year. But with that being said, like if you live in South Nampa, that's where Nampa School District is, the southern part of Nampa. I don't love their public school system down in the southern part of Nampa, but they have some really great charter schools even. Like Gem Prep Academy is one of them that is highly recommended. I have a cousin / niece that she went to Gem Prep and she loved it. It was a great experience for her. But there's also a lot of homeschoolers out in Idaho.
Yeah,
like we homeschool our kids. Yeah, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about the libraries, because especially if you're looking at homeschooling or co-op or anything like that, the library here is just such an amazing resource. Like I so underrated libraries until I had the kids that I have. And like we start realizing that, hey, we don't want to be buying all these books all the time. We can just go down to the library and literally my wife will rent like 20 to 30 books at a time. But it's just so simple and easy and you can drop them off. It's just, they make it really smooth and easy. And I love the library. That's probably a really lame take, but it's great. I am not ashamed.
And just to plug in also, like, yes, we have our public schools. Yes, there are the charter schools. There are some really great private school options, and Nampa does house one of them, being Nampa Christian. That's a great private school. There's also Ambrose that is not too far away. And you have Cole Christian, Cole Valley. So there are some great private options as well to just throw in the mix of schools.
Yeah, so even though like Nampa school districts, like the public school districts, are not that great, you have some great options that are not necessarily public school. And even if it's to the point where you're like, I have to go the public school route, I would just be looking to put you on the north side of Nampa so that you're in Valley View School District, because trust me, I have no qualms there. My wife taught in that school district for I think 6 years, and I only have great things to say about them. Okay, so remember back to the beginning of this video, guys. I was saying that the affordability of Nampa makes it so worth it, because you're really not giving up much. As I was saying that, there's I've said one thing now a couple times, so there's probably like 3 things that really, they are hard. You kind of have to swallow the pill a little bit. with Nampa, and this is one of them, is the lifestyle amenities portion. Now, not everything. For me personally, I love hiking and trails and mountain biking and all that kind of stuff, and unfortunately, Nampa can't compete with Boise in that area.
Yeah.
The Boise foothills are just so amazing, so great, and there's not a great option for Nampa. There is like the Owyhees to the south of Nampa, just as you go further south, but it's nothing compared to Boise.
Right.
It's just desert versus where Boise has like, you're on the edge of mountains, like actual mountains. So that's kind of a bummer. But that being said, the trails and all that stuff is lacking. But in terms of other amenities, like I think we can compete, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have access to the Greenbelt out here, so definitely you've got some great walking paths. You have Lake Lowell for like canoeing, fishing. You also have the Deer Flat. Sorry, what is that called? Deer Flat Wildlife.
Oh, wildlife, yeah.
You also have the Deer Flat Wildlife Refuge area, another great place for walking.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people in looking online and stuff, like they enjoy bird watching out here in Nampa.
Yes.
So
that wildlife refuge is an amazing place to bird watch. And also, you mentioned the Greenbelt. It's called the Wilson Creek Path. It runs not like as extensive as the Boise Greenbelt, unfortunately, but it's good enough to get a good long, like 3-4 mile bike ride with the kids. And there's lots of wildlife on the path usually, and it runs along the Wilson Creek and leads to Wilson Springs Pond, which is like a hub for ducks and just this like wildlife preserve type place. Again, you could fish, you can bird watch, like the kids just love climbing trees out there. It's a super fun place to go, and it's kind of one of our regular stops during the week. You know, when I get home from work and the kids are just have a bunch of energy before bedtime, we'll usually hop on there and get a good bike ride in. So that's a blast. And again, those are some of the things that like in Boise, it's a given. You're gonna be able to ride your bike and go to the park and do all that stuff. And I really don't feel like you're sacrificing that by moving to Nampa. There's parks everywhere. There's the Greenbelt here, ponds, like there's really nothing lacking in that regard. But there's other amenities too, like golf courses and even the Ford Idaho Center, like that's where people are going for all their concerts.
Yeah, concerts, sporting events, rodeos. I know my sisters and my mom and I, we just went to a monster truck jam.
Monster jam.
That was fun, our first time, but it was a totally fun experience.
Yeah.
The Snake River Stampede Rodeo that's hosted there is a must to go
Arena Supercross
every year.
in the wintertime too. I'm a big dirt bike Supercross guy. So it's like there's so much to do out here. So it's like that's the part where it's like you're not lacking in terms of like things to do and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, the mountain biking thing still, like that's hard for me because that's a big part of like what we like to do and everything. So we do travel a lot to Boise for that. But I mean, that's a small price to pay for, you know, $80,000 less to spend on a house.
Absolutely. There is also the Warhawk Air Museum.
Right.
That is another highlight of the Nampa area. If you haven't been, I highly suggest it. So much history there. They also do at least a yearly air show. Maybe they do it more often, but I know they at least do it one time a year. That's a fantastic event to go to.
Absolutely.
So there are some great events that does bring the community together here in Nampa, where you don't have to travel to Boise or Meridian.
For sure. Okay guys, this isn't like a major part of the video, but just a quick little thing. If you're gonna come check out Nampa and see what it's like, and you got like an hour or so to kill, check out this spot right here, Jeremy's Downtown Arcade. It's a super fun, literally just an old school arcade. I forget exactly, I think it's like $5 and to play, like $5 for the day. You could just be there for the day for $5. They also do like a subscription service, like if you want your kids to just be able to ride their bike down there and play arcade games for like $15 a month or something like that. They just have unlimited access to arcade games. Super fun place to check out, especially if you want to go like on a date night with your wife or just a day out with the kids or something like that. Check out Jeremy's Downtown Arcade. Okay guys, next thing we need to talk about is the crime rate, which initially going into this video, I was like, oh, total pro. Like I'm not worried about crime at all. I was very surprised to look up the actual numbers. I forget what the website was. Do you have it? It was a crime something. Oh yeah, Neighborhood Scout is a website online. There's an image of it on the screen, I'm sure, right about here. But Neighborhood Scout rated a 36 out of 100, with like 100 being the safest. So it's only safer than 36% of cities in America, which I was blown away by. Like, I don't know if they think that's a good rating, but I take that to be not very good. But me living here personally, like, I feel like it's super safe. Rachel, what are your thoughts? Like being,
so
sketchy downtown Nampa.
I live in Boise, but however, we do come to Nampa. I'll come here with my husband, I'll come here with my girlfriends, and we totally feel safe. I would be with Cameron too. That's kind of shocking to hear the data, because you come here and you totally feel safe. Small town feel and just a welcoming environment.
Yeah, and I mean, just like any city, there's gonna be parts of it that are, like less desirable or just attracts a certain type of person, and there's more crime or things like that. And actually we'll put a map up on the screen here from a website we found, and like you can see the red areas are where it's, crime's higher, whereas like the green and yellow, it's a bit safer in that area. And admittedly, I do live in like one of the green areas just north of Lake Lowell. And I think that it just kind of goes to show that like it's so important to have a good, knowledgeable agent for when you guys are looking to be able to find someone where you can lean on their local knowledge to find an area that's going to best fit you and your family and your lifestyle. Because when we're talking about safety and like whether or not you need to worry about your kids riding their bikes and all that stuff, like, I mean, I'm about to have 6 kids soon, and nothing is more important to me than knowing that my kids can ride their bikes out in front of the house without having any issues. And honestly, we've lived here for 5 years. I've never had a single issue. Actually, as I say that, I had a really grumpy neighbor who just didn't like kids, but that's probably the most of it. I wouldn't necessarily call that crime, maybe just a personality conflict. But I mean, that's been the only issue in the last 5 or 6 years that I've lived out here, and I've been super happy. I love Nampa for our family. Like, it was such a positive change for us. And so I know that it would be for a lot of you guys too. So if you're thinking about moving to Nampa or just Boise in general, but you're not wanting to break the bank to move to like Eagle or Star or something, you should seriously consider Nampa and reach out to Rachel and I, because we know the area. We helped so many clients make this move. So call the number down below. It's just right here, or email us, whatever's easier. Honestly, Rachel and I love to text, so we can text you pretty easily. Any questions you have, even just setting up like a Zoom call or something to get to know your story, reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Okay, another cool landmark, and again, homeschool dad here, but we had to bring our kids to this place to check it out, but super fun place for the kids to come. And this is the old historic train depot in Nampa. Like, you can go tour it. They walk you through all the kinds of trains and cool stuff like that. So definitely a cool place to check out. But as we're just walking here, I wanted to talk about, being on trains and commuting and all that kind of stuff. We don't commute by train here as much as we probably used to 100 years ago. But I will say that is one of the things that, if I'm honest with you guys, has me considering moving back to Meridian or Boise at the moment, because almost my whole life is in Meridian right now. Like, we go to church probably 2-3 times a week. That's in Meridian. And the drive is starting to get to me. Rachel, you've heard me complain about it at the office. What am I up against? What's this drive?
Yeah, so if you live in Nampa, especially during rush hour traffic, you are going to be looking at an extra 20 to 30 minutes in the car, depending on what side of Nampa you're on. I know, Cameron, you're further out south, which adds more time to you. But you need to take that into consideration, because our I-84 is back to back and slow moving during those rush hours. And even, I would say, I've seen the back roads, the country roads, even those have gotten way busy over the years. Yeah,
and they're improving it. I mean, they're putting a lot of roundabouts in, and that definitely speed things up versus like the 4-way stops just get so backed up. But I think they're almost all gone at this point, and they're converted to roundabouts. So that keeps traffic flowing. But I mean, you're still, like without traffic or heavy traffic, you're about 20-30 minutes, which is not a bad commute. But like, the reason it bothers me is because I'll drive 30 minutes home, pick up my family, go to our Tuesday night Bible study, 30 minutes back, and then 30 minutes back again. It's just like a lot of back and forth. Whereas when we first moved to Nampa, our church was in Nampa. We had a lot of friends in Nampa. We still do, but there's just a lot more poles to like basically be in Meridian, like where I work, where we go to church, where actually basically those are the only 2 things. So it really is going to depend on where you establish your community and your people are at. That's going to be a huge thing. And also what you're comfortable with, because really the commute has not been much of an issue for me until the last couple of years, where I'm noticing that I'm just working a lot more in Meridian. So that's gonna be something to consider, because like if it's bothering me, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's gonna have a hard time with that commute.
Yeah.
So again, it's just gonna depend. Are you gonna find yourself needing to go to Boise Meridian every single day? If so, we've had a lot of clients complain about that drive. You know, I had a best friend that lived in Nampa, kind of pretty close to where we are right now. He worked at Micron, which is a major employer for the Treasure Valley. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I spend 2 hours of every single day in the car, an hour there and an hour back. Because with rush hour traffic, that's about the time frame you can expect. So that is probably the biggest hindrance for people, I would think, moving to Nampa, whereas like, you know, the mountain bike trails and everything, that's kind of specific to me or people that are interested in hiking and things like that. So, I mean, really, I think there's like two really big major cons to moving to Nampa, and that's gonna be the traffic and, you know, the area that you wanna live. And again, like I said earlier, make sure you reach out to Rachel and I, because we can help you find the right area. It's just a matter of, are you able to deal with the traffic? Is that gonna be a nuisance for you? Or are you one of those people where it won't affect it? Okay guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this Nampa tour. I'm very curious to know what your impressions of Nampa are before this video, and if it changed your mind on anything. If you're interested in Nampa, you wanna see what homes are available and what they're like in Nampa, make sure to click on this video right here where we tour an amazing RV bay garage home in Nampa.